Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Coming Distractions brought to you by the Nerdpocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Jay. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about Without Remorse. This is the soon-to-be released film starring Michael B. Jordan, Jamie Bell, Jodi Turner-Smith, Coleman Domingo, Lauren London, and Guy Pearce. So this is a movie based on a Tom Clancy novel of the same name in the sort of Jack Ryan universe, right? This one, however, deals with John Clark, who is sort of like a military badass, kind of go his own way kind of guy, played by Michael B. Jordan. The general plot of the film is that John Kelly loses his wife. She's pregnant, like 9 months pregnant or something like that, or 8 months. And his wife is killed because these guys basically break into his house and assassinate her looking for him. And the reason why sort of unfolds in the film as to why that's happening. And it sort of puts the United States and Russia on the brink of all-out war. Look, I am a huge fan of the sort of Jack Ryan movies. Some of them have been very good. Some of them have been very bad. If you like the Jack Ryan series on Amazon, this is more in line with that level of quality, I would argue. So it's a pretty fun movie. It's got some great action sequences. Michael B. Jordan is pretty good as John Kelly, who eventually becomes John Clark, which is the character name that everyone kind of knows. It's a pretty good movie. The issues I had with it, there's some weird ADR, especially in maybe the first like 20 minutes of the movie that just are kind of jarring, on a couple of characters. I don't know that Michael B. Jordan kind of comes off in the beginning of the movie as much of a sort of commanding military badass as we're led to believe by the trailers. He sort of kind of grows into that as the movie goes on. And it's not the arc of his character. He's supposed to be a badass from the beginning, right? Where you sort of find him in the middle of this mission in Syria from the jump. So it's a little weird. Like I just didn't find him that commanding in the beginning, and I was kind of like, oh, this is not going to be good. But the movie kind of finds its legs after maybe about the first half hour, after he's injured in this break-in and his wife is murdered. At that point, then it's like, okay, that's clearly where the script got a little bit tighter and things started working really well. Again, the action sequences are good. There's a really good sort of all-out fight with a sniper and all this other stuff in Russia, which is pretty dope. But I liked it. There's a good relationship between Michael B. Jordan's character and Jodi Turner-Smith. You may know her from Queen and Slim, where she's his commanding officer, but they almost have like a brother-sister kind of relationship because they've kind of been through the shit together, especially even in Syria in the beginning. So they're kind of looking out for each other, and she's willing to kind of go a little bit further to feed him information and things like that, which he needs, right, to kind of get this revenge plot going. One of the things that the movie does that I wish it kind of didn't or had gone further, which is like it kind of touches on this idea of, John Clark is obviously this black soldier who's, trained to, go into these crazy situations. And, Karen Greer, played by Jodi Turner-Smith, is also black. And they touch on sort of them being black soldiers and being almost seen as expendable by the U.S. military. And the reason why I wish they hadn't gone into it or gone into it further is because it's such a light touch on the topic where it feels like you wanted to say more, but you just chose to pull back. And to me, it's like either don't mention that and just kind of deal with them just being expendable because they're sort of grunts on the front line kind of a aspect, or deal with the race issue and like really dig into it. I would have preferred if they had, sort of feast or famine, right? But that's probably my larger like narrative criticism. There's a couple of issues with sort of the ending for me felt a little a little shaky. But the ride is pretty good. And then, it kind of sets up for, obviously there's going to be more of these movies at least planned, for the John Clark character, which is cool. Look, I love a good, like, military action, film. They're kind of fun. It's not a completely mindless film, which I appreciated. These are more the smarter sort of military spy thrillers, that we haven't had in a long time. So if you liked the original Hunt for Red October or Patriot Games, or Clear and Present Danger, which to me, those three are easily the best Clancy movies, then I feel like this is not as strong as those Harrison Ford movies, but or Sean Connery movies. Like, it's not quite as strong as those, but it's pretty close. And again, if you like the Jack Ryan series on Amazon, which I think is excellent, I feel like you'll like this. And this feels much more in line with that. So it's got a sort of a modern take and things like that. Like this literally takes place mostly, in Russia and in Aleppo, which is obviously, very modern, war zones, politically and, actually, direct militarily. So if you like this sort of universe, I think you'll dig it. If I have to give it a score, it's a 3.5 out of 5. I'd like to see more. So I think Michael B. Jordan could grow into this role and make it pretty popular as a character to modern audiences. So check out Without Remorse. It'll be on Amazon streaming April 30th, and we'll see you guys next time.